Hello, everyone, AARP members, friends, people from around the state that we just know are tuning in. I'm Marnie Peel. I'm the Communications Director at AARP North Dakota, and welcome to another segment of AARP North Dakota, all things AARP North Dakota. We're going to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing in the community, what kind of advocacy work is going on, and then, of course, our little live wire, the AARP add-on at the end, where we'll give you a little information to take away with you. So I want to kick it off this morning with AARP in your community to talk a little bit about what we've been doing this summer. And you saw some peeks of that in our video from last year, because we pulled some different segments from different things we did. But one of the things we've really been celebrating at AARP North Dakota is Generations of Pride. That's one of the ways we talk about it. And, you know, our founder, Dr. Andrus, she was very much about, as far as the mission is, what we do for one, we do for all. And that really ties into our work with pride organizations and the LGBTQIA community. This summer, we spent some time in June at Capitol Pride, which was indoors this year on the BSC campus, and really a vibrant and fun event. We did a lot of engaging and talking to different people of all ages. And then in August, we were over in Fargo, of course, this month for the Fargo-Moorhead Pride event, which was a great opportunity to connect with our good friends, the Red River Rainbow Seniors. It's a lot of R's. And our friend Cindy Roholt there. And Cindy is a very active AARP volunteer and member, someone we rely on, appreciate, and value, and also our 2021 Andrus Award recipient for her great work in community in the Fargo area. And when Josh and Janelle were over there for Pride, Josh took a minute to talk to Cindy a little bit about the work that the Red River Rainbow Seniors does, her ties to AARP, and a little bit about Pride. So we're going to queue up a video.
For this episode's AARP in your community, I'm super excited to be here in Fargo, North Dakota. It's Pride Weekend. We just finished up a social with AARP North Dakota and the Red River Rainbow Seniors. And so with me today is Cindy Roholt from the Red River Rainbow Seniors. Cindy, thanks for being with me today.
Yeah.
So cool. So Cindy, first of all, tell our folks a little bit about who the Red River Rainbow Seniors are and who you are.
Sure. We figured out tonight that 7 years ago, AARP came to Fargo and hosted just a social that was just going to be 50 plus folks getting together for something a little bit different. And somebody had a bunch of markers and a piece of paper, big piece of paper, one of those flip chart things, and people started talking about what their concerns in the community were. And there were a lot. And AARP had some things to say about, well, you know, these are things that we can provide information for you about. And it just started a conversation that was really important. And from that, the group Red River Rainbow Seniors was formed, and it was just really addressing the needs of the LGBT community in the Fargo-Moorhead area.
So talk a little bit about why organizations with AARP work, you know, you've heard me say this numerous times, but for our viewers, you know, what we do for one, we do for all.
Yeah.
And so we're super excited to collaborate with the Red River Rainbow Seniors. But talk a little bit about why that's important.
Wow. Well, you know, first of all, we're folks of a certain age, and our concerns and our needs change, and, you know, AARP, honestly, gosh, was not on my radar at all. I was one of those people that was truly convinced. It's like, oh my gosh, I got mail from AARP. It's like, let's hide it.
Yeah,
I don't want to know about it. But just the amount of stuff that I've learned that AARP has contact with, information on, resources for. You know, it's not just that, but it's the community building aspect of it as well. There's a huge volunteer network. There's always something going on. Stuff online, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so if folks want to get engaged with the Red River and with seniors or engaged with AARP in this work, tell them a little bit about where they can find them.
Well, contact AARP North Dakota. We have a website that is finally, after 7 years, just getting there. It's up and running, but that'll be up soon. But you can find us on Facebook, and also you can reach out for information to rrainbowseniors@gmail.com.
Awesome. So,
And we'll be glad to answer any questions you've got.
Cindy's a rock star. She is our former Andrus Award recipient in North Dakota. I think it was 2021, right?
Yep.
Okay, 2021 Andrus Award recipient in North Dakota. She's actually helping us judge this year's Andrus Award recipient as well, which will be announced just shortly. So that's this episode's AARP North Dakota in your community.
So you can see from Josh and Cindy in that there was a lot of action going on. You can hear that background noise, and that was during the Pride events in Fargo-Moorhead. And I know they're in an alley near where we had our social that night, and about 35 different LGBTQIA friends, allies, members of that community were together, and it was a really great time. And so I know that they appreciate that. And here in the western part of the state, we do have the Missouri River Rainbow Seniors. You can see we have a river theme going on, and they recently had a picnic down near the river. And there were about 30 people came together. And, you know, one of their organizers, Alan, we were talking about this a little bit, and he said that it was very much needed. You know, COVID, while it was a few years ago and we all move on, it was an isolating time. And a lot of people who had community lost that community or lost touch with community. And so bringing people together around the things that are important to them, around the communities that they're already part of, really matters a lot. And that is one of our goals always as we fight for those who are 50 and older and work together with our LGBTQIA community here in North Dakota. In October, the summit that I mentioned, the LGBTQIA summit in North Dakota, will be happening here in Bismarck, and we're bringing in one of the lawyers from the AARP Foundation to talk about different ways that AARP is out there, out front, doing different work. So that's going to be exciting. And during that time, and in all of our work with this community, we talk a lot about caregiving. And one of the reasons we talk about caregiving with this group is because there are some real factors that affect people as they age when they are in the LGBTQIA community. There's an organization called SAGE that gathered a lot of information about, it's a social service and advocacy organization focused on LGBTQ elders. And some of the facts that I pulled to kind of talk about this is that, for instance, older adults who are LGBTQ are twice as likely as older heterosexuals to be single and live alone, and 4 times less likely to have children. So you think about that in the context of caregiving and and aging, who you rely on when you need to have surgery. For instance, my mom's having her hip replaced and I'm here for her. And there are people who don't have that kind of network. It also means so they're less likely to have traditional sources of family and caregiver support. And in a dignity survey that AARP did in 2022, it was of LGBTQ people, 45 and older, found that 82% are concerned about having that adequate family or social support as they age. Bringing these groups together helps alleviate some of those fears, helps showcase the resources that are available to people. And so, because also another issue is that often LGBTQ community members can be estranged from their families. That happens. And they have some personal experience of discrimination, ostracism, and those are concerns as well. And so they can be wary of medical providers and some of the traditional caregiving scenarios that are around them. And so relying on families of choice means that you also need to make sure that your wishes are met. And if you're in a medical setting, you need to make sure that your family of choice or the people that you designate as your decision makers are recognized. And so a lot of that work can happen through AARP and some of the resources we provide. And so that's some of the work that we're doing. So that information and more, so much more, can be found at aarp.org/caregiving. And I see Doreen's put that up on the screen. It's an amazing resource. I'll touch on it again in a little bit, but everything from local services in North Dakota to very specific guides for LGBTQIA caregiving. Great things. Now I'm going to pause and segue and transition, not that smoothly, but I will tell you that it is August and school started this week, but it's not just back to school time. It's back to the capital time for Janelle, who is our advocacy director here in North Dakota. She, I think, gets a hit of adrenaline whenever she can go up to that prairie skyscraper that we have and go to those interim committee meetings. I know she's psyched about it, but we are tracking a few different issues that are being studied during this interim session. And so you'll be hearing from us on these, but Janelle is sitting in, paying attention, collecting information, and we'll be conveying that as needed. But we're talking this year, the studies that we're focusing on are accessible transportation for older adults and individuals with disabilities, So we'll be taking a look at that, making sure that finding out what's happening during those research studies and how that affects AARP members and those 50 and older in North Dakota. We're going to be looking at the study on homelessness and barriers to housing, because we know there's a real issue with that missing middle housing, affordable housing, and it's going to be talking about that, and that affects a lot of people 50 and older and their families, so many people across generations and across economic status. So that'll be an important one that we're watching. Retirement security, of course, pensions. You heard a lot about that in the last session. We'll be talking about that again, paying attention to the study taking place. And then property tax relief, always a hot topic, including the homestead property tax credit. That is also being studied. So either Janelle, mostly Janelle, but you'll hear from Josh too on all these topics as we move forward during this interim time frame when the legislature isn't in session. They're still doing a lot of good work. So if you're interested in learning more about any of those studies or anything that you can do to affect some of the advocacy that happens in North Dakota, please reach out to Janelle on our advocacy team or go to aarp.org/ND advocacy. So you'll find all the contact information and content on all of that. And that brings us to the final segment in our short, sweet, all things AARP North Dakota. We're super happy you've stuck with us. Thank you for being here, but it's our AARP North Dakota add-on. And it's not so much an add-on as a continuation of what I was talking about before, but that caregiving site, the aarp.org/caregiving, is a remarkable resource. It covers everything. As I said, there's the LGBTQIA+ caregiving guide that addresses a lot of the specific concerns for our friends in that community. And then there's also resources and coverage of nearly every topic. I was looking at it in preparation for this, and there are articles right now that include how to cope with guilt when a family member enters a nursing home. Everybody wants to be able to cope with their guilt, and we always have a lot of emotions around those next phases of life. There's an article about how to make your home safe for your aging parent. And of course, there are more than that. And there's also a very specific guide to North Dakota. So you can find the North Dakota caregiving resources on aarp.org/caregiving. So a great place to go. No matter what your question or concern is, you'll find information about it. And that brings us to the end. We are done with this segment. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching. We hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I've had a great time being here. And our next episode is September 14th, and we'll be talking about volunteering, health, and who knows what else. It's a little bit of a crapshoot sometimes. We have a good time. We might pull in a surprise. So we will see you on September 14th. Thanks for being here. Talk to you later.